Hi, folks. My name is Coffee. I'm a CM on the Bitverse Community team, and I'd like to welcome you all to a very special community-focused Q&A session. Today, we're here with Juniper, the Senior Community Manager of the Bitverse, Elle, a Senior Community Manager for Kongregate, and Arbiter Rex, the lead game designer for Blood Vessels, another one of our phenomenal blockchain titles here at Kongregate. Our plan is to go over some updates about current Bitverse community events and giveaways, which I'm sure you've seen on the calendar. We'll then transition to answering some player-submitted questions about the Bitverse, Kongregate, and Blood Vessels. We'll wrap up the session by answering your questions about community management and giving away an Ultra Gore to another lucky audience member. This session is going to be a little bit shorter than usual, but we'll still be posting the Q&A up on our YouTube channel with captions so you can see the text version of our answers. Now, before we get started, I'm going to quickly mention a few things that may be of interest to the community, and then we can get into answering some questions, all right? First up, for the creatives in the audience who may have an interest in writing, if you haven't already, we have a very exciting event currently running in our Discord that may be perfect for you. Until June 29th, we encourage everyone in here to get creative and share with us your Bitverse or Bit Heroes lore, fanfiction, short stories, poems, scripts, or other written content in the writing contest channel of the Discord. If you can write it, you can submit it, basically. Winners of this event will be walking away with a legendary Neurion simulator, a Discord Nitro subscription, 1,000 gems, your content featured in-game and on our social media outlets, and exclusive titles on Discord. I don't think it can get much better than that, if I'm being completely honest, so. We're also running weekly social events on our Discord that we encourage you all to join if you haven't seen those already as well. This Friday night at 5 p.m. PST, we'll be getting cozy and watching a movie together in our Watch With Us channel, right here in the Discord. You can even vote for what you'd like to watch by checking out our community polls channel. This week, we'll be watching Happy Gilmore together, so I really hope to see you there, especially if you haven't seen it already. I highly recommend it. It's a classic. And next, for those of you that have been anxiously awaiting more news about Bit Heroes Arena, we are excited to share that there's an upcoming open beta scheduled, and all you need to do to get access is sign up for our Bit Heroes Arena playtester program. The link to do this is kong.gg/BHA beta. I'm going to say it again in case you need to type it, write it down, whatever. KON.GG/BHA BETA. That's all you have to do. You have to go there, sign up, you're done. Easy. Now, before we get into answering questions, I think it would be great to take a moment for Rex to introduce himself to the Bitverse community, as Blood Vessels is a new game that some audience members may be hearing about for the first time. Rex, how would you feel about taking a moment to share a little bit about your history with Kongregate and Blood Vessels?
There we go. Am I coming out across okay?
Yep.
Perfect. Thank you,
Excellent. Great.
Cool. Hello, everyone. I am Arbiter Rex. I am over at the Blood Vessels Discord, which is a cousin game to the Bitverse. What Kongregate is trying to do with all of our cool new projects. I see that Conrad SY is here. He also hangs out in our Discord. So what Blood Vessels is, just as a quick pitch, is a TTRPG-like game played over Discord. Our game is Discord focused, and it requires the community to tell us what to make, what story they want the direction to go, and what kind of stuff they want us to create. So I was tapped for this very cool AMA about community management and hanging out, because a lot of Blood Vessels is about community management. Yeah, so that's what I am doing here. It's very nice to be up here with you guys.
So
We're super glad to have you. I'm sorry to interrupt, Coffee. I just wanted to say it's so exciting to see Elle here and have Rex here. It's starting to feel like a really great weekly thing that we're doing. So I hope you guys keep joining us.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you so much for the intro, Rex. So now we're going to get into the fun stuff. We're going to start answering some questions. Up first, we have a question for Juniper about the Bitverse, which I'm sure you didn't expect this one coming.
I'm ready, shoot.
Will other Bitverse games eventually have a roundtable, or will it be one giant program?
Okay, so in short, yes, they are absolutely going to, each product is going to have their own roundtable. For those of us who might be unfamiliar, the Roundtable is the community program that we have in place for Bit Heroes that helps us stay aligned with the community and assists us with testing unreleased content. We've actually not announced this yet, so everyone here is getting a little bit of a sneak peek, but we do plan to have a Roundtable program for each game in the Bitverse that is going to be structured kind of similarly to the original Roundtable that exists in Bit Heroes. The next game that will be starting the program is Bit Heroes Arena, and members of this table will be referred to as our gladiators, which we feel is a super fitting title for our upcoming Battle Royale. Just like our current program, new roundtables will be focused on supporting and guiding game development while advocating for your fellow community members. For Bit Heroes players, we are also excited to announce that we will be opening signups to the larger community, which is going to allow you to throw your hat into the ring for roundtable membership consideration in the future. I do have to do a very quick disclaimer here, though. Please know that the program remains invite only currently at the discretion of Kongregate. So applying doesn't necessarily mean you're a guaranteed membership, but we will contact you with a formal invitation should you be a fit for the roundtable. You should expect to see that sign up form in our announcement section on Discord early next week. So if the program sounds interesting to you, we really encourage everyone to check it out. And yeah, yes. Long story short, each game is going to have their own roundtable. Instead of having like one giant one, we felt it made more sense for each game to have their own groups that are kind of driving, excuse me, towards the success of their product. So yeah, that's the plan for the roundtable.
Fantastic. That'll be nice to see I can't wait to see all the titles. Like Gladiators, I love that. That's phenomenal.
Their names are going to be, so they'll be Gladiators and Warriors in Bit Heroes Arena, but I think for Runner, like they're going to be called Scouts, and we have a whole list of like cool names for people that we're coming up with. So yeah, we felt like the Gladiator thing was just super fitting for the game.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
That sounds really awesome. That theming is going to be really fun to do.
Exactly. So you guys definitely got to apply. That's for sure. If you want a cool name, you have to apply. Come on.
It's worth it for the cool name. It's worth it.
Yeah, it's worth it alone just for the title. Like, okay. Well, we're on to our more Kong-focused questions now. We're going to segment into that. I believe this one is towards you, if you don't mind. Could you tell us more about Kongregate?
Yeah, of course. Being in a Bit Heroes, Bitverse community, there's probably a section of Kongregate that people might not be totally familiar with. As a company, we're a community of creators and gamers, and we're just driven to share our passions with the world. We made Kongregate.com, which has been 16 years of indie games that you could play in your web browser. We spent just as much time publishing mobile games that have been incredibly successful, like Bit Heroes. And we're still making and supporting mobile games. We're working on a CCG that hasn't been announced yet. And we're also exploring the best ways to improve Kongregate.com and retain some of our old school success and bring it into the new era of Kongregate, which is our efforts that we're putting into Web3 projects as we redesign the website. So Kongregate really just announced an awesome deal with Immutable X. We're focused on demystifying everything around NFTs, integrating it into our regular platform, and looking to work again with indie devs that want to bring blockchain games to our website. So if you're interested in learning more about it, it's a really cool initiative. You could just look up Kongregate and Immutable X Blockchain Developer Fund, and you'll see some of the articles that came out and some of the questions that were answered by Max Murphy, our CTO.
Yeah, just to build off of that, things like the Bitverse, the Blood Vessels universe, like these are just you're all like the first colonists on Mars with us as we figure out this stuff and work on it and make it better and cooler. So there's a lot of cool new things on the horizon.
That sounds great. I love the educational factor as well. Like learning more about the blockchain, I think is huge. And also uplifting indie devs. That's fantastic to hear.
And I mean, for better or worse, the blockchain is a space where I think it is fair to say that a lot of people, it's new. And, education is something that's helpful for, all of us. But given how new of a space we're working in, I think, that demystifying effort is actually really helpful. I think it's going to help drive us in the right direction and hopefully make the blockchain and NFT stuff seem a little bit less like foreign and scary and more just a natural part of your guys' games.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what kind of indie things are created through it, or what kind of indie games or new games are created eventually for the platform. Like that to me is the most exciting. Getting the community making stuff again. Yeah, I'm very pumped for that.
Some of the best games I've played in recent history have been indie games, so I'm right there with you with the excitement. I can't wait. I really can't wait. Next, I have one for Elle and Juniper. What is your proudest achievement as a CM or favorite community memory, if you don't mind us asking?
I have been doing this for a while, and with Kongregate, I've been supporting just so many of our games over the years under different pseudonyms, and every community has these standout moments. They're usually events and moments that involve the community, like create a card contest we did for Stormbound, a card game, recruit for loot contest and Animation Throwdown. The photo contest for the holidays with Bit Heroes was like some of my favorite entries, and just there was so much joy with that. But probably one of the more standout favorite community moments was bittersweet having to move off of the Bit Heroes team, but they put like this goodbye statue in the game that sort of was like goodbye from Elle, good luck adventurers. And then if anybody knows about the cosmetic pet in the game called Strands, it's this little fluffy white dog. That's my dog. And that's just sort of one of my favorite things about it. How about you, Juniper?
Okay, so my proudest moment as a CM, I think, is also hands down one of my like just favorite memories in general. So a little bit of a story time. I apologize for the story time, but like I love this one. So when I was working for Riot Games, I was responsible for supporting collegiate communities in our University League of Legends program. The purpose of the community program was to kind of support and empower collegiate club organizers across North America to create these really memorable League of Legends experiences on their campus clubs. As part of this program, I was able to create and host this huge, all expenses paid learning and development conference for our collegiate organizers to help them learn all sorts of valuable skills that they could use to grow their respective communities. We invited hundreds of students from North American universities to meet with rioters, to do workshops, connect with each other, and like generally just have a blast over the course of about 4 days. We paid for flights, we paid for their hotels, we paid for their food, but we realized that this was going to actually be a pretty intense event for some of our attendees, just given how much that they were going to have to be focusing kind of on the learning and development side of things. So on the last night, we hosted an after party in 2 of the ballrooms that I actually had converted into a private Dave and Buster's style arcade for attendees that was complete with DJs, catering, karaoke, some of the best DDR playing I have ever seen. I think at one point we even had a spontaneous dance floor that actually appeared that resulted in like breakdancing and dance battles between the different organizers. So, but I remember at the end of the night, the organizers surprised me with this huge poster signed by all of the attendees that they had made. And when they gave it to me, I was genuinely like almost ugly crying because I just felt so grateful for having this like these amazing, passionate, and kind community members. I still actually have the poster. It's like framed in my house. It's like one of my most treasured things. I love it. But the event, the coolest part, I think, it helped kick off some of the careers of more than a few of the attendees in the gaming industry. So it was just insanely rewarding to know that we were able to help support players who had done so much for Riot on their campuses. I genuinely hope that one day I will get to do something like that again. Maybe for Kongregate. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Rex.
is so
DDR party.
awesome.
No, I was halfway through. I was hoping you were pitching it to us as a thing to do, 'cause I'm
Hey, maybe in the future. You never know.
Yeah, there was a time that we were doing like booths at shows and having more in-person events with things sort of I would love to do something like that again in the future.
yeah.
Yeah,
I've got
it was an amazing experience. Rex, did you want to share anything?
Yeah, I've got a small story. I was never a CM, but I did work on a game called Tyrant Unleashed, which is a classic Kongregate game. And it was part of our move into mobile space, one of our early mobile games. And we had a player in the game who would play the game and would collect this one currency. And he would always ask when this made-up faction would show up, these creatures that he named after his account, the Gillians. When are the Gillians going to show up? When are the Gillians going to show up? When are they going to invade? Every time we had a weekly event, he'd be like, when are the Gillians going to show up? So this guy would always ask this, but he was a pretty good forum member. He stuck around, he posted in things, he was friendly. And so we were designing an event, and we decided to do a Gillian event. And so we brought these made-up aliens invaded for an event. The shards that this player liked to collect, was the reward currency for the event. It was just all about collecting these things, and it was a really, really fun time.
That sounds fantastic. All these stories are fantastic and sound fun.
Unmuting my mic and talking over the next person. Like I let the pause go just long enough that I end up unmuting myself and talking over people. I am so sorry.
No, it's okay.
The version of like trying to figure out which direction to walk on the sidewalk when you come at the same time.
I am that awkward person too.
And then you just walk into them anyways.
If it's been a long enough day, yes.
Yes. Can I add to that? I have a funny memory.
Yeah.
Probably
Please do.
I have been moderating communities, not as like a official CM, just kind of like in my free time for about 10 years now. I'm currently head admin of a larger streamer Discord, and one of my favorite things to do is to do an April Fool's Day prank every single year. And when I say prank, I do not mean like I just change the icon and go hee hee haha and then I'm done. I'm talking I redo the entire Discord. Like I overhaul, because it's go big or go home for me. And so this streamer in particular really likes Denny's. If you don't know what Denny's is, it's a subpar American diner that is generally cursed after about 10:30 p.m. at night. You do not go to Denny's, you end up at Denny's, basically. And so, just to speed it along, I converted his entire Discord into a Denny's. Like, I'm talking the banner, the icon, changed the Discord name, changed all the channels, changed the voice channels, had all the staff change their profile pictures to like the Denny's logo, changed our roles to everything, and I have never seen like such funny community engagement for like nearly 24 hours straight. It was incredible. Our Discord was acting like they were in a Denny's. Like they were basically role playing that they were in a Denny's. And it was honestly the funniest thing ever.
That's amazing.
They were just absolutely all for it. Like they'd be like, "Oh, we spilled there's syrup everywhere. Can you get a cinnamon pancakes?"
Everyone's gonna have to look out. Coffee might one day turn your server into like Walmart, and you'll have no idea how you ended up in a Walmart server.
That is such a good idea. People thought it was the official Denny's Discord too.
If it happens, though, at least everyone here knows who to blame. It was coffee.
I might. Who knows? Who knows what I'll pick? Maybe it'll be Target.
It won't be on April Fool's Day. You'll see.
It won't. It'll be someday in October. That's the only forewarning you get. That's it. But yeah. Our general chat is fantastic right now.
Can never keep up with general chat when I'm doing the AMAs at the same time, just because I will end up just answering in the wrong place, the wrong question.
I have it up on my other monitor just to see what's happening over here. But anyways, those are great. I'm glad we've all had really fun experiences with this, because it is fun. But yeah. Elle, I have another question for you.
Great.
Someone wants to know, why can we not have chat back on Mob Wars? It would bring many players back, and it was a very essential part of the gameplay there.
That is a complicated, I guess not that complicated question. I agree. It definitely would bring a lot of players back. It was an essential part of so many games and a huge part of what created the fun culture on Kongregate.com. But the reason we took chat down and we haven't brought it back up yet is it was an unfortunate side effect of scaling down the website as we put our resources into building out the new version of the website. So as a temporary space, we have the Kongregate Discord server. If anybody wants to join it, the Discord invite code is just Kongregate, the word Kongregate with a K. And right now, what we're looking to do to sort of replace and reinvigorate the online community is rebuild Kongregate.com. There's a lot of cool stuff that we're working on, and we're trying to find the best way to integrate our Discord community into the website so you have a new version of chat alongside the games that you're playing on web. That's sort of what we're looking at in the future.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like that was very informative. Okay, we're gonna work our way on over to blood vessels. Are you ready, Rex?
I won't talk about it too much. I'll try and focus on specifically the topic today, the community topic. So Blood Vessels is a game that we're working on over at the Blood Vessels Discord. And it is a game where players take their NFT vampire characters. You get a vampire in this game. You take this character and you bring them into the World's Fair of Chicago. You explore the World's Fair, you interact with it, you discover secrets. Our first story is going to be a single character narrative where you'll take your NFT character, which has game stats, and you will try and survive the second night of the Great Chicago Fire. So, touching on what I was saying earlier about what we write after that, what we create after that, the adventures we make after the first drop is going to be based on what our community wants to see. So they want to see more horror, more vampires, more sci-fi, more other stuff. I don't know. That'll be what our players tell us. And then we'll listen to them and make some cool stories. Hopefully it becomes a conversation back and forth. You take your cool NFT, you run them through some cool stories, you bring them back, you run stories yourself. Yeah, that's the stuff we're working on over in Blood Vessels Land.
You said sci-fi vampire, and my interest is piqued.
Yeah,
You listed all these things like this or this, and I just, yes, all of it.
Yeah, it's got a lot of flavors, and we definitely want to spice the soup accordingly. God, is that a good metaphor? Spice the blood. We want to make sure it's good. I might have said soup because I'm looking at this Waffle House gif and I'm the chef working in it.
Yeah, I've truly derailed in the general chat, huh?
The point of one of the major pillars of Blood Vessels is that the community guides the content they want to see or that we can output, that we want to output. And so, yeah, thank you again for inviting me onto this awesome panel.
We're so thankful to have you here to explain it in depth, because I know now that I've heard sci-fi horror vampires, I'm just like, Juniper, I want to hear more. I want to hear like a vampire that has a lightsaber and go from there.
Wait. Yeah.
See, I'm on to something.
Yes.
Okay. Rex, I have your first question for you. It is, how does Blood Vessels Discord work?
That's a great question. Right now, if you join, you can create a beta vampire in our beta vampire chat, and it will create a random vampire for you and gives you game stats. And then those game stats can be called on with skill rolls to just play around to see what it's like rolling dice using your NFT stats to roll skills. I apologize for the ambulance going by. I assure you,
lost a lot of blood.
I assure you it's not related to blood vessels or legally. What was I saying? Oh, right. So how does it work? So the player brings their NFT into the game here, meaning Discord, and they're able to access certain rooms with their role. They get a role for having an NFT, a Blood Vessels NFT, and in those rooms, you'll be able to play these adventures, which will be text, use images, and we're even playing with some technology that lets us turn parts of the Discord almost into an exploratory world where different rooms represent different places in the world, and where you can't just necessarily move to the next room, you'll have to travel there. So if you're traveling downtown to downtown Chicago from the fair to help prevent your friends from getting into a fight, you probably get there a little late, or probably when they're all beaten up and bruised. Play happens through Discord commands and through rolling dice.
That sounds like a better version of Discord D&D, like a more refined, cleaner version.
That's kind of what we're working on, is how do we bring that stuff into the Discord space? How do we use NFTs to make it cool, and how do we run cool scenarios without having a person on the other end? How can our arbiters write cool narratives and get other players playing those stories? And then we're writing that stuff based on what the community wants to see. So
that's so cool.
I love the idea that the community has so much control over the narrative of the game. I think it's amazing. So if I understand correctly, so you can go to the Blood Vessels Discord. I get a vampire, then I play Blood Vessels by participating in the Discord.
Unfortunately, there's no game part available just yet. We do have you can get your beta vampire and you can roll some dice, do some skill checks like you would for like D&D or something like that. But we do have a daily story called Seeing Red, where the community, it's kind of like a choose your own, I don't know if I can say the full one, because choose your own path. And the community is in charge of this character's fate. They vote on if she should break down a door, if she should try and stay hidden within a church, if she should try and ask nicely, or if she should try and ask with a little bit more force. This is all a story you can participate in right now. It happens daily. And then we roll dice and act like this was something that happened within the game. to show off the mechanics that we're building.
Oh, okay. I love that. As someone that's played a fair bit of Discord D&D, I definitely am. I'm incredibly interested in this because it just, again, like I said, it sounds like a refined, nicer version of Discord D&D that's not your character dying to a cat 3 times.
Yeah.
But we won't go into that.
We're definitely working on bringing like cool tools into the Discord that the players will be able to use. So the game will take place within and on Discord. There's no other downloads or other sites to go to.
Cool. Okay. Our next question for all three of you. How does community impact game design at Kongregate?
I'll go first. I definitely just talked about how we're going to be using it as the direction for where we go in Blood Vessels. Before that, how does community impact? The community and Kongregate are the same things. Congregate as a word means come together, right? So the whole point was of the site, the 16 years of growth, the mobile games is like the community and the games are together as one. So they're inextricable. How do they impact what we're working on? That is the Kong Web 3 that we're working towards, that we've touched on already, why the chats have disappeared or why we're working on things. We're upgrading. So we're building this stuff for the community.
Yeah, definitely. And when it comes to like the gamification on the website, what people will be able to do with like things that maybe they've collected in the past, how badges or profiles are going to work, stickers and chat and all of that. We're acutely aware of how much the people make the community, like Rex was saying. And so we have our eyes and our ears on what the community is saying. So we always love to hear what you love, what you hate, what you miss about the website, what you want us to keep or improve or bring back. So if you're a member of the Kongregate Discord server, if you want to just write us, support@kongregate.com, we would love to hear from you. If you're an old school fan or a newfound follower, tell us what you want out of a gaming community. How about you, Juniper?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say over in the Bitverse, community feedback and engagement are considered incredibly important to the continued success of the game, especially as we kind of move into the blockchain space. For those in the audience who may be a little bit less familiar with like NFT and blockchain projects, community agency and involvement are not just something that's desired, but it's kind of necessary and expected. As a community manager, I have for a long time felt that one of the most impactful ways a community can influence game design is by being involved early and often in the development cycle. This feedback loop with developers helps us to design experiences that are, more closely aligned with what our players want. And, for those of you who may have read like the Bitverse white paper, for example, you'll know that one of our objectives with the Bitverse is giving agency to our players. For example, we talk a little bit about like staking BitPixel tokens and avatar ownership, giving individuals the power to vote and submit proposals to influence our game design. This is something that, I think it's planned over the course of the next 5 years, but I think it's a really good example of just how much we want the community involved in the development of our products. If you are, a free-to-play player, your voice matters too. I think that I would say, the most important thing is to make sure that you're involving yourself in our spaces and making your opinions heard.
Nice. I think that's really important. I really like that Kongregate is definitely one of the companies that highly focuses on the community. That's one thing I've definitely picked up on, even though I've only been here for like a month.
It's only been a month.
It's only been a month.
Oh,
as of today, actually.
You're already. It feels like you've been here for forever. Already part of our hearts, Coffee.
Aw. I do be trying. But yeah. Now we can get into, and I've seen this question asked a lot recently. It is community manager focused. We're going to those questions. And I know there's multiple people in this audience that are excited to hear this because I've seen this asked myself. How do you become a CM?
Oh, I love this one. Okay. So I love this question because the truth is there are quite a few legitimate ways to actually become a community manager. So it's not necessarily something that I would say has a right or wrong approach. I do think the most important thing before jumping into community management is to ask yourself why. If your intentions are fame and glory, this is probably not going to be a fit for you. However, if you passionately enjoy helping people solve problems, more deeply connect with each other, and products they enjoy, you could maybe be a CM in the making. Typically, community manager isn't really an entry level title, which means you'll typically need experience working in related fields, or you'll want to search for things like junior community manager or community specialist sort of roles, which can often welcome applications from individuals who may not have formal experience. The most successful CMs I've personally met are cool under pressure. They have very strong written and verbal communication skills. They're outstanding at customer service. They love digital media and content creation. I would say experience with social media management is also always helpful, along with any sort of like volunteered or paid experience moderating. I know that sounds like a really long list of things to have, but I promise that it's much more about having the right sort of personality and mindset for the role than many people think. For example, I think Elle got her start as CM with us after a long career managing live events, whereas I became a CM by taking entry level positions in the gaming industry when I was young and working my way kind of up from there. So if you happen to have any companies around you that do quality assurance, production, customer service, these can all be really great ways to get your start as a community manager. I personally myself, I was in QA, tech support, and customer service before I finally landed my role as a CM. So just stick with it and you'll get there. I love my job and I definitely couldn't recommend it more to people who are highly interested and have that mindset.
I can, if you don't mind, I could tag on to that with my
Oh,
how I guess I got
absolutely.
here. I definitely took the non-traditional route of I've been a community manager for about, I'd say 11 years. I started with a small Minecraft community when I was in high school in like 2011 or something like that. A very long time ago, and I've revealed that I am incredibly old. But anyways, um it was a lot of volunteer work for me, for sure. Like I went from Minecraft to helping with a huge Gary's mod community of like 6,000 people, I believe. Became co-owner of that, ran that for about 4 years, moved on, and I still help, as I mentioned earlier, I help a few streamers with their communities that are larger. And what landed me my first job was the fact that I was the lead moderator for E3 last year, and I helped pick out like a bunch of mods for stuff like that. And that experience helped me get another job that I had previous to this one. It's a lot of sometimes it can be a lot of volunteer work for sure to get experience. But yeah, there's a
And I
lot of
would say
ways.
just like, oh, see, I did it again. Damn, I did it again. My timing is the worst.
Or the best. It seems
I
like
think it's a delay, honestly. I think there's a
Is
delay.
that what's happening? Okay.
I honestly think there's a Discord delay.
I'm chalking it up to that just to make myself feel better. I was gonna ask Elle if I know she has a little bit of a different background getting into CMing too, if there was anything she wanted to share.
I think you are so spot on with calling out like the key skills and it being kind of more about a mindset and kind of what the person feels passionate about. And you're right, I did get my start. I totally did a huge shift in industry. I went from being an event manager to being a community manager. But really, it's the same kind of sentiment where you have these sets of skills that are just applicable. Whether or not it's the exact same job, it still had the same skills like customer service and being cool under pressure and all of that. So yeah, really, I don't have a ton to add to that. You did such a great job with it.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry, I got distracted by general chat again, being general chat. But anyway. Okay. You guys are so funny. I love this community. Y'all are so funny. Okay,
It's
on to our
really true.
next question. Yeah, they're honestly, the humor level is fantastic here. Okay. Next. I want to be a mod. How do I become one?
Oh, I have an answer for this. I can take this one. I think, okay. So this is one of the most common questions I think CMs get in general is how do I become a mod? And I would say, the cool thing is that most of the time, what makes a good moderator carries over to lots of different types of communities and products. I, of course, would love to hear what Elle thinks, but I know that I personally look for members of our community who are constructive, respectful, have excellent communication skills, regularly contribute, have a dedication to fairness and objectivity. And it's again like being a CM. There's an importance in mindset, but yeah, again, I think the most important thing is that desire to just really help people. Being a moderator can be a thankless job at times, and having that deep-seated desire to support your community will keep you kind of going during those rocky times. Just like when we were talking about being a CM, it's important that you don't sign up as a mod because you're looking for like fame, perks, attention, stuff like that. Those things may be part of the job in some communities, but what you'll most often be doing is ensuring that the community is safe from harmful content and malicious individuals who might be looking to cause problems that could negatively impact other players. Given that your job is stopping people who are breaking the rules, it's pretty important that you have thick skin, as you will inevitably have to deal with people who are less than happy that you are stopping them from having their fun. All of that being said, if you're a community-minded individual with a love for the Bitverse and helping people, you should absolutely apply to be one of our moderators. We have an online form that you can find in our Discord, but please know that we actually have just selected a new group of moderators who we will be getting set up, and we'll be introducing them to the community soon. So it may be just a little while until we're actively recruiting. Elle, what do you look for on your end for like a mod for Kongregate?
One of my favorite way to describe the Kongregate moderation philosophy is that moderating is the art of making people want to behave. And so we always look for people who are, like you were saying, they're interested in community building. They kind of act like the cool older sibling or mentor. They're not like trying to mother people or be really strict. They're also not a god amongst nobodies. They're a regular person who's maybe a little bit more responsible, but a regular user who's a part of the community and wants to help grow it and be better. Yeah, so and that's awesome to hear that you just selected a new group of mods. On the Kongregate server, we're always accepting applications. We're starting to open up chat rooms for languages other than English. So if anybody is interested in getting mod experience or helping us grow our community, we're looking for some extra mods, especially ones that speak another language that might be interested in modding those channels. So our application is at con.gg/mod app. Yeah.
Nice. That's great to hear. Kong.gg/mod app.
Yep.
For anyone that wants to like go sign up, which I recommend. Okay. I will say, I'll just add on to that in my terms of like when I had to pick people to mod like a 400,000 person Twitch chat and like my own little communities in the past. One thing that I definitely probably highly focus on is the fact of people that genuinely want to be there for the community. And it's like Juniper said, you're not there for clout or whatever. You're there because you love the community and you don't want it to turn into the Wild West of the internet like in 2001 or something. So that's a big thing. So yeah. Oh, here's the fun one. We have a fun one coming up. What do CMs do? What do we do?
We do a lot of things, and sometimes it's one thing, sometimes it's everything. But the community management team, I would say, is we're on the front lines of player and user interactions. We deliver news, we facilitate feedback loops, we manage moderators, we curate and create content, we host events, and one of my favorite descriptions is we are in-house paladins, taking the heat from the community so our developers don't have to. That's my summary. What do you think, Juniper?
I only want to be referred to as a paladin going forward. Just quick. But in all seriousness, I think you nailed it. I would say, community managers could also be responsible sometimes for managing social media outlets, influencers, community programs when they're not busy doing things like writing up a feedback report or coordinating Discord announcements. I know that I've personally done everything from merch creation to long-term project management. So we really can often end up wearing a ton of different hats as community managers. For me, that's actually part of what makes working as a CM so much fun. We not only get to meet amazing people, but the amount of ways that you can positively impact a product and community is it's really quite amazing, and it's super rewarding.
I mean, there's also the aspect that you guys bring, issues to the devs, right? A lot of speaking as someone who's done a lot of development work, it can be hard to do the development work and also tap into the community and have it equal, like not going absolutely nuts. So having CMs, having people that are advocating on behalf of the community are like, hey, I got them to get, I got people together. These are the things that they want. These are the things they don't like. These are the quality of life fixes. Like that is extremely helpful when we're developing new stuff.
Yeah, and like Majdi is, I'm sorry, some of our other designers and developers, Rex, you too, as community managers have worked with developers that maybe aren't always as charismatic as you are. So community managers will sometimes act as that filter between the devs and the players to make sure everybody is on the same page and talking as just to make sure that conversations are productive. And yeah, so that's what I mean when I say we're the facilitators of feedback. It's an important role, and I love doing it.
Nice. I'm glad we all love our jobs.
It's so true. We have the best jobs.
We really do. I think that I'll add that the weirdest thing I've ever done as a community manager is I had to clean a streamer's house once. I think that's the strangest bit of my job I've ever had, but
they work that into like your I'm trying to figure out how they got you to clean their house.
I was
I can get people to clean my house.
I was a silly person that was like, yeah, I'll help you clean your stream house so you can move to a different house. Yeah, I'll fly to California. I'll help you clean out all the props from the YouTube channel and everything. Yeah, I'll help you donate this to Goodwill. Do I regret it? No. You know, it is what it is. Okay. Our next question. What can we as players do to help grow the community? What contributions are valuable to CMs and devs?
My answer is maybe more geared towards like game communities and how players can help shape the game and communicate with the developers who create it, who work on it. And it's that we love getting feedback, but it's especially important to see something that's detailed, especially bug reports. It seems like such a simple call out, but truly, it's such a bummer as a community manager to see a problem that we don't know how to fix simply because not enough info was provided. So, like, we can prod and ask questions, but it's really improves it speeds up the process when we have details and information from our players when they describe what's wrong. And on the flip side of that is it's not always helpful to hear like elaborate ideas about how you would fix a system, but it's so helpful to hear about how the game makes you feel, what types of goals you have, what kind of gameplay you want, and like why you think something's lacking. And that really helps the developers fine tune what you're already playing and enjoying and make it even better, without getting inundated with the details like changing currency and costs and drop rates. But Juniper, I think, has more to say about what players can do to help grow a community.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say for anyone who wants to help their community grow, I think the best way you can contribute is something that probably is going to sound really simple, but genuinely matters. Tell people about the game you love. Tell people about the community that you love. Do it in person, social media, on websites, wherever you can. Organic word of mouth reviews mean more to most people than things like advertisements do, which means that your voice is super powerful and you should use it. As far as what contributions are valued, I think that's a pretty huge question. At the end of the day, almost all meaningful and constructive contributions will be appreciated, but I know that my job is 1,000 times easier when players provide us with that detailed, respectful, and timely information you were kind of talking about, Elle. As Elle mentioned, it's a huge bummer when we can't take action on ideas because maybe a comment was too brief, or it was stated in a non-constructive way. That's a huge thing. I like to call that out. Being constructive is really important. Yes, we too are humans. Share your ideas for how we can improve, and why you think it should be done. I do think keeping realistic expectations is important as well. For example, it's pretty easy to say, I think the game should be entirely free. But that statement would kind of ignore the realities of us being a company that has costs and employees. What would be preferred instead is an explanation of what prices would be reasonable. And if none are, then to kind of explain thoroughly why that's the case and what your ideas are. If you're reporting something like a bug, our developers generally preferred detailed, specific information about what you've experienced, along with fun things like, if you're playing on like an Android device, or if you're on Steam or something like that. Ultimately, there are a ton of ways to be valued, to be a valuable community member. I would just say, if you love your community, don't be shy about it. Tell the world. That's probably, as far as like growing spaces, I think that would be my recommendation. Again, though, I don't think there's really like bad contributions unless you're just being like disrespectful or, non-constructive. But yeah.
Yeah, and to kind of bounce off of what both both of you said, Juniper and Elle, about bringing bugs, reports, criticism, critiques. Often the CM is the gap, is the bridge between the community and the devs. So it makes it a lot easier from the devs' perspective to intake that stuff, especially if it's got clear reproduction steps or clear issues, clear constructive, like this is how we can make things better. That stuff's not. It is considered in the meetings in the dev rooms after feedback is given, and to help Juniper, Elle, and Coffee, communicate that stuff to us, the developers, is to do it respectfully, to do it constructively, to do it, it's great to have ideas. Everyone has good ideas, but what, and I think you said it perfectly, Juniper, what can we do to make the game that you're into better, rather than add a new feature, add a new type, add a new thing? What can we do to make the weekend experiences better, the what you are engaging in more fun?
I think that's a big one with community. Also, I was pausing to make sure with the Discord delay. Be
Juniper,
respectful.
Oh, I did it. I said Juniper just didn't unmute fast enough to get you, but I did it.
I am literally sitting here with my mic muted. I almost did it like 3 times.
This feels like it could be a really good Jackbox game, like a unmute yourself in a meeting AMA panel, and it's everyone's trying to, and you're trying to get the person over. Anyway,
that's true though. Write that down. Write that down. So now we're gonna go to the fun questions, which I think they've all been fun, but that's me.
I like fun questions. Let's do it. I know we said also this was going to be shorter. This has ended up being like one of our longest Q&As, so I love it. Let's just keep going.
We're just having so much fun.
My bad for keeping you all here a little bit longer than we were expecting, but I hope you're all having a very good time.
I'm having a great time. This is fantastic. But we must know. First fun question of the night. Favorite movie?
I have a hard time with favorites. I'll just say movies written or directed by Wes Anderson.
There's a really goofy movie called, not goofy movie, although that's a pretty good one. There is a goofy movie, or I don't think comma would work. There is a goofy lowercase g. There you go. Movie called Hot Rod, and it has Adam Sandberg in it and like the Lonely Island crew, and it's like just at the. It feels like I think it came out like just around when they were on SNL and it started. Like that kind of humor was new and funny, and it's still one of my like top 3 comfort movies. I put it. It's just a weird, funny movie, and it's very good.
So for me, I am a hardcore horror movie fan. Hardcore horror movie, like it's my favorite genre. I pride myself on being able to like watch basically anything and not get scared or squeaked out by it or whatever. That being said, my favorite movie is actually The Shining. I have literally watched The Shining played backwards to reveal more secrets about the movie. Fun fact, you can actually play the movie backwards and like overlay it with it playing forwards, and it like reveals all sorts of like Easter eggs. It's pretty cool. But
Wow.
yeah, no, I adore The Shining. Kubrick is absolutely amazing, and if I could watch like one movie forever, it would probably be that one.
I thought if you played the movie backwards and forwards on top of each other, they meet in the middle, and then Kubrick comes out of your screen. Isn't that, I've heard of friends doing it, but they all kind of disappear after. I don't know.
I have 2 favorite movies. I wanted to check and make sure I could say this because it does have a swear in it. My 2 are probably Jurassic Park and Inglourious Bastards.
PG-13 on this server. You're good.
Yeah, true. I just want to double check. You know me, I have to double check everything. You know that for sure. I have to. I triple check things. But,
Also not a bad trait if you are interested in being a CM.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Oh, I see the gifts coming.
I was gonna say, otherwise you end up like me and you're a walking meme with edited after every single post you make. So,
Oh, same.
it's definitely a helpful trait.
Here is our last fun question of the night. And our last question. If you could only have 3 games to play for the rest of your life, what would they be and why?
Oh, can I go first?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna steal this one because I am such a nerd for talking about video games. Okay. My 3 would be Witcher 3, Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, and Final Fantasy X. Would say why. So Witcher 3 is, I love RPG games. I thought the writing, the graphics, I mean, I think it's like damn near a perfect game. I absolutely adore it. I have played like kind of an obscene amount of that game already, and I never seem to get tired of it. Hellblade actually holds a super special place in my heart. For those of you who don't know about Hellblade or haven't heard about it, it jokingly is referred to sometimes as like the AAA depression game, because it deals with mental health and like depression, schizophrenia, that sort of stuff that presents in like in a warrior named Senua. Mental health means the world to me for a lot of personal reasons, and watching her journey was near and dear to my heart. And I still am moved to tears. I think when I play that game, it's just, I think for anybody who knows people who maybe suffer with mental illness and depression, schizophrenia, that sort of thing, it's just very it's very authentic, and I love it. It's one of my favorites. Not to mention the combat is challenging and fun. Final Fantasy X is my favorite Final Fantasy. I know I might catch some heat for saying that because there are other ones out there.
They're all wonderful in their own way.
They are. Final Fantasy X for me was one of those ones that just hit me at like the right time. So I was younger. I was, starry-eyed romantic, and their story, I ugly cried for like 2 days straight because of the ending of this game. Like I must have put hundreds and hundred, oh my God, so many hours into Final Fantasy X. I think I bought it on like every platform that it's come out on since. Like, so I own like 6 copies. But I will never stop playing. It is my favorite one. It was the first Final Fantasy that I just fell in love with. The art is beautiful, the music is beautiful, the story is coherent, which is good for Final Fantasy. But yeah, those would be my 3.
How about you, Rex?
I got a bunch of favorite games. Okay, so if we're going to go down the nostalgia hole, I think for sure Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. I remember playing that game on the N64, and I beat the 3rd dungeon. I was like, oh, okay, cool, this game's going to wrap up soon. And then it's like, no, actually, there's a whole new game you're going to have to go do. You're an adult now. The world's changed. We're in the future. It's a dark future. And it was like unlocking all of these like tropes that I didn't know I loved already. Like as I'm playing, I was like, what? It just kept surprising me. And I know the water level can be tough, and you can break it so that you can never beat the game in the water dungeon. But it would be one of my desert island games. Another one would be someone called out Elden Ring, and I know that's the new hot right now. I would want to play it just so I could understand it. Like if you're putting me on a desert island and I get the time to understand a video game, it's gonna be like I want to pick up Elden Ring. I want to take it apart. I want to look at all the pieces. I want to come back from that island and put together a YouTube lore video on it. That's how intimate I want to be with that game to understand it finally, to get it. Third game. I think I called that Final Fantasy IX because we're talking about Final Fantasies, and it's the same reason, Juniper, as you. I think Final Fantasy IX was my first PlayStation game on a disc, and it blew me. Like, first of all, this game's got 4 discs, so you know it's going to be good. Because they wouldn't put they wouldn't put a bad game on 4 discs. But the story was great. The characters were great. There's this character Vivi, who's this like adorable black magician. Except that
cliffhanger. Except that
I was going to say, did you cut out, or was that me?
that was I had my.
What?
I'm not sure what happened. Maybe we'll come back to Rex.
No, I'm so sorry. It's my cat keeps bumping me. Push the talk. Sitting on the desk next to me.
Oh my
sorry,
goodness.
Shove him away.
Sabotage.
Okay. Absolutely.
Vivi, halfway through the game, this character has this internal nihilistic crisis of faith, where they're like, "Why am I adventuring? What am I? What is consciousness?" And everyone else is still having like a Final Fantasy adventure. But this one character, this adorable character, is having a much more internal war. It's very fun. Because I know it's a weird thing to follow, but it's very fun. But I dig it.
Everybody had, I mean, both of you had a Final Fantasy game, and we're seeing it go through the chat. So I'm going to go and say one of the games I could maybe play for the rest of my life is Final Fantasy 14, which has been out for 12 years. I've only been playing for maybe like 2 years. So there's just a world of content I have yet to explore and enjoy. And, Squaresoft, the music, the writers, the art, it's always just beautiful and lovely. I could play Final Fantasy 14 forever. If any of you play, I just have to shout out that I'm a raid white mage, and it's one of the best classes to play. The other game, another game I would play maybe forever is this zombie survival real-time strategy game called They Are Billions. And you basically build a base, and eventually tons of zombies will attack you, and you have to hope you survive. It's really, really great. And then the last one, this is maybe going to carbon date me, but honestly, I could play Minesweeper forever.
That was not expected. That's amazing.
I love Minesweeper.
Okay, so I never understood how to not just click on a bomb. Like, you'll have to show me someday how to win at that game. Because
that's not the goal. Because I'm really good at that game. I thought until a second ago. Wait, you're not supposed to blow up?
It's all in the numbers. Yeah, how about you?
14 is also my favorite. I have over 1,700 hours in the game. I'm a black mage main, and my secondary is Dragoon.
Fantastic.
I like to fall off the side of everything because that's what that class does. I like to stay in my ley lines and die to AoEs. It's truly the pinnacle of Final Fantasy 14 black mage class. My 3, starting with number 1, this was incredibly hard. It has to be Sly 2 Band of Thieves for the PlayStation 2. The Sly Cooper series is one of my favorite of all time. I think it's slept on. Number 2, I'd have to go with The Wolf Among Us by Telltale Games. If you've ever wanted to play a game that's like fairy tales, leave and go to New York City in the 80s, The Wolf Among Us. It's phenomenal. I love it.
Big B is everything.
Yes,
All I'm
Big
gonna
B is
say. I won't
everything.
spoil anything, but Big B is life.
Big B is. If you don't like Big B, I don't think we'd be friends. That's just the comics are. I see Jen chat. The comics. The Wolf Among Us made me read the comics. I sat down and read them in one night. I read Fables in
Comics are
one
so
night.
good.
Yes.
They're so good. They were one of the ones someone bought for me a while back, and I remember reading them like, how have I never seen these before? Like, this is amazing. So, if you like the comics, I think Coffee is totally correct. Definitely play the game.
Definitely do both. Just do both. Just go do it right now. Tonight. This weekend. Just go do it. Go play The Wolf Among Us and then go read the comics, then we can talk. But my third favorite game might be out of left field. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Definitely tied with Snake Eater though. I'm a huge fan of the Metal Gear series. I could sit here and recite the entire lore, but obviously I'm not gonna make you listen to that. The classic stealth game. Yeah.
Metal Gear's a
Fantastic.
great franchise. I think it's a super good choice.
It's so convoluted and I love it.
It is an
just-
ongoing joke with my friends that every once in a while somebody will just say, Snake? Snake!
I'm honestly considering getting a Diamond Dogs tattoo. Like, actually.
When I was a kid, I used to, or when I was younger anyway, I used to pretend to be Sniper Wolf all the time. Like,
Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow.
it was, to be fair, I was young, but I thought she was everything.
She's a cool character, though. At the end of the day, you just have to admit she's a cool character. But yeah, I think we are at the end of our Q&A, folks. Now,
This is the longest Q&A we have done, hands down. Thank you guys for hanging in there with us. This one is what did we do, like an hour 15? Nice job, everyone.
But yeah, we're gonna close her up here. And I've had a lot of fun though.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for being here, and Elle and Rex. It's so awesome. Coffee too. I mean, I think this is Coffee's first Q&A with us. So thank you so much for hosting. Thank you all for joining us. It has been amazing to spend some more time with the community. Yeah, I think Coffee probably has some notes to wrap us up. But yeah, thank you again. Thank you all so much for showing up. We always love seeing you.
Yeah. And before we end the session, we still need to give away an Ultra Gore. This week, everyone who has joined us for the Q&A is eligible to win. You just have to join and listen, and then meme on us in general chat if you really want to. But anyways, Juniper and I will select a random winner shortly after this Q&A wraps up, and we'll announce the name to the community before the day is done. All right. We're basically out of time for this session, so we're going to wrap it up, obviously. But I want to thank Rex, Elle, and Juniper for taking the time out of their very busy days to sit with us, and a sincere thank you goes out to all of you as well for hanging out with us to talk about the Bitverse, Kongregate, Blood Vessels, and Waffle House. Our next Q&A session will be on June 23rd. Write that down. Put it in your little calendar and phone. June 23rd. We'll see you next week, and I hope
times
you...
3, June 23rd.
Exactly. See, I can't do math, so you lost me there. We'll see you next week, and I hope you all have an absolutely incredible weekend, and stay safe.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Take
Thanks,
care.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.